Larson, what happened tonight?
Well, I hit the old little flipper locker upper thingy, and it went bang, and then it went no good. It didn't go anywhere anymore. So, you know, I don't know. We'll fix it. We'll get her done.
And this is where we're sitting, on the side of the road, waiting for a truck and trailer.
This is Kyle Bassett's, I think it's an 04.5 or 05 truck. He's had it on the dyno previously. He has 275% extra G injectors, a single 12 mil extra G CP3, and previously on the dyno with a Taterbilt 6868 made 929 horsepower. And he has it down here today to test out one of Taterbilt's new stock appearing 7171 turbo. So we shouldn't have to do too much changes in the tune file. We're basically going to get a baseline run, see what gains we see, and go from there. Alright, so we made a baseline pull, made 909 horsepower, and I think it was 1,365 foot-pounds of torque. We're having to start the run at a little higher RPM since it is a bigger wheel on the turbo. So that's why torque's a little bit lower than what it did before. And then we adjusted the wastegate after the baseline pull. We picked up 4 PSI after adjusting the wastegate, which gained us 40 horsepower. We also threw a little bit more fuel at it. It made 948 and 1461, I believe, foot-pounds of torque. So we are going to adjust the wastegate one more time, try to get max effort horsepower out of these, try to be right around the 60 PSI mark. So we will adjust the wastegate and keep you updated.
Okay, I figured this would be a good truck to talk about stock appearing turbos, and there's been a lot of talk about stock appearing turbos, how durable they are, failures on Facebook. There's a lot of chitter chatter about, you know, don't put this stock appearing turbo on your high horsepower truck, it's going to blow up. The main push on these turbos is a lot of these trucks do have good driving habits on the stock appearing, and it is a lot less expensive to upgrade a turbo when it's just a drop-in, because you can use the stock downpipe, stock intercooler pipe, stock oil feeds, stock oil drains. Whereas you do a second gen swap, you have to buy a new downpipe, new intercooler pipe, new manifold, oil and feed drains. You spend a good bit, almost double the money doing a second gen swap as opposed to just a drop-in replacement. And honestly, like Larson ran a 6767 drop-in HE351 on his truck for a couple years, had no problems with it. Landon ran one on his truck for a couple years, had no problems with it. Rolanda ran one on her truck. We've had a lot of people here at Firepunk. That was when you're looking for a budget option. You just grab a drop-in turbo, drop it on there, and you get, you know, you can go run, make 800 horsepower, run 770 with it, and honestly get some good life out of it. So what I see on a truck like Bassett's today, it made 909 horsepower first pull out. Most people would be delighted, made 909 horsepower stock appearing turbo, let's go home. But instead, this has a bigger turbine wheel in it, and Austin Tate is here. He wants to push this thing pretty hard, just see what kind of power we can make out of it. So we put a turn on the wastegate and made 948 horsepower, and now we're gonna turn the wastegate even more. So we know, we're assuming the risk that if we turn the wastegate up, we could overspeed this turbo, and if the turbo overspeeds, it blows up. These turbos still have the standard size turbo shaft in them, so if you overspeed them, they blow up. That's why even on a truck that makes 650 horsepower, if you have a boost leak, if you're running smaller injectors with 3,000 plus microseconds, you're running a lot more late burn in your manifold, and you get higher EGTs, higher drive pressures, and you can overspeed a turbo that way. So a truck like this has 275% overs. We're doing all this with 1,800 or 1,900 microseconds, so you're getting a shorter fuel injection. You're burning more of your fuel in the cylinder, and you have less late fuel burning in your manifold, which cuts down on your heat and energy going to the turbo and keeps your turbo shaft speed down. So it takes a well-rounded setup to make these turbos live at high horsepower. The 6868 that he put on in 2017 lasted 3 years, and he has raced it, done burnouts, had all kinds of fun with it, and it's been reliable, but the whole package was right. So it's even got enough power that he cracked his block, but it's just got a little bit of coolant leaking, and it's been hanging on. So today we're gonna see if the block can hang on as we turn this boost up and see how much power we make. But I wanna make sure that guys get a good understanding of these stock appearing turbos, because they seem to get a bad reputation quickly as soon as somebody posts a picture of one on a turbo or on Facebook all blown up. And it doesn't matter if it's a Fleece Cheetah Charger, a BD Screamer turbo, a calibrated power Stealth turbo, a Taterbilt turbo. If it's stock frame, it's gonna have a smaller shaft in it, and the only way to make 900 horsepower with those turbos is by speeding them into a danger zone. So there's a little tidbit for you. I hope it helps. If you guys can understand that information, it helps you choose what turbo to go with on your application.
Alright, so after making a few wastegate adjustments, we are calling it a day. We couldn't make any more than 948 horsepower and 1,461 foot-pounds of torque. We got the turbo to make about 60 PSI of boost. Didn't really want to push it that much harder. Pretty much, we just wanted to leave it the way it was. Didn't want to risk exploding the turbo. But Tate will take this information, come back with something better that makes more power. So we will get Kyle's truck off the dyno and send him on his way.